It seems quite a few people have forgotten just how good at basketball that Jared McCain is. The Sixers rookie was on his way to running away with the Rookie of the Year award before that meniscus tear ended his season. Now, since this point, we've seen this man roll out a nail polish line. We've seen this man be at the Sixers lottery drawing, which ended up landing the VJ Edgecombe, as well as doing a number of media obligations, such as interview at the NBA Finals, interviews at the NBA Draft. But let's not forget his actual basketball ability, which is the biggest story here. And based on what he provided in his rookie season, it should not be forgotten very easily. Now, what fired me up and got me ready to hop on the sticks and record this video here is there's an article that came out by Bleacher Report listing the top 10 biggest trade chips in the NBA right now. And I was a bit surprised to see right at the top of that list, at number 1, being the Sixers' very own Jared McCain. Now, before I dive fully into it, I do want to acknowledge that I will hear out the case. And I am standing 10 toes down saying I have no business or no interest in trading Jared McCain probably ever, and certainly not right now. But let's hear out the case. Let's go through the point and talk through a bit about the role for McCain and the Sixers' future. So to dive right into this, and I apologize, the font being a little small here, but what the article writes is, Sixers fans might cringe at the suggestion Jared McCain could somehow, some way, be feasibly available. That's fair. If you believe this current core's injury issues are too great to overcome, then the idea of dealing a 21-year-old who packed as much high-end potential into a 23-game sample size as McCain did should be a non-starter. Philadelphia may not share that sentiment, though. Not when the healthy version of Joel Embiid remains an MVP challenger. Not when the healthy-ish version of this team should be good enough to contend in the wide-open Eastern Conference. Plus, McCain, a scoring guard with defensive limitations, maybe isn't the best long-term fit with Tyrese Maxey. Especially not if the Sixers think they could replace McCain with a number 3 pick VJ Edgecombe and hopefully re-sign Quentin Grimes. A McCain trade, while not likely, feels like it has the greater than a non-zero chance of happening. So he'll snag our number 1 spot by virtue of his ahead-of-schedule efficiency, ignitable scoring, and no hesitation shot creation, which all add up to significant star potential. Now, this significant star potential right here is exactly why I have zero interest in a deal actually going down. Now, for Jared McCain overall, I understand it was just 23 games that we did get a chance to see him on the floor, but I cannot overstate how special that he flashed to be in those 23 games. To lay out the full stats for what he brought to the table, across his 25.7 minutes per game here, averaged 15.3 points, 2.6 assists, 2.4 rebounds, shot 46% from the field, 38.3% from beyond the three-point arc there. He's still just 21 years old. And it was the style of play that was most encouraging to me. That shot release, so repeatable, so quick, so efficient there, and obviously producing at a high rate. And beyond that, he wasn't intimidated, man. This guy was not afraid of the moment, and we saw his role vary on a night-to-night basis in a massive way. There were a couple games that he played along Joel Embiid where he was very much the sidekick and benefiting from open looks that were kicked out for him. There also were situations where the offense was essentially Jared McCain, run the show, and honestly, it did not look too bad. I understand we're grading on a scale based on how bad from start to finish that last year was for the Sixers, but the bottom line here being you can't be upset about what Jared McCain showed, and at the minimum, significantly ahead of schedule there. When we compare him to a rookie Tyrese Maxey, it is night and day how much more polish there was to Jared McCain from day one. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to immediately be better than Tyrese Maxey, although if you want the hot take, my honest opinion, I do think that will eventually be the case. This is not a slight on Tyrese Maxey. I think all these guys are incredibly talented basketball players, but this is a positive that there is this amount of depth and there are these different ways that it did come out. But it was not just Jared McCain that did crack this list on the Sixers roster or organization, maybe I should say to that, is there's another interesting trade chip, and that being the Los Angeles Clippers pick. So I did want to pull up this portion of the article here, which writes this coming in at number 5 here. The Los Angeles Clippers 2028 first-round pick via the 76ers. And this article writes it out as, much like their Pacific Division rival Warriors, the Clippers are operating on their own 2-year plan. Kawhi Leonard has 2 seasons left on his contract. James Harden has 1 guaranteed and a player option, and only Ivica Zubac will definitely be on the books beyond the 27-28 season. LA was already the 3rd oldest team heading into last season, and it has surely climbed the ladder since. During the season, it brokered a big trade for 32-year-old Bogdan Bogdanovic. Since the season ended, it brought in 32-year-old Bradley Beal, 37-year-old Brook Lopez, and 40-year-old Chris Paul. The Clippers' championship window might be the NBA's narrowest, and even if Steve Ballmer is ready to spend big time on their next iteration, this organization will have a massive rebuilding effort on its hands. That's the hopes of the Philadelphia 76ers anyway, as they own this pick and are never shy about brokering a big trade if they believe they could move closer to a championship breakthrough. Now, the most notable part that I do want to highlight here is, for starters, the Sixers hold this card directly. Let's not forget that this was a part of the return for the initial James Harden trade, and obviously the Sixers still reaping the benefits of it. Now, in fairness, James has been pretty excellent for them, that I think the Clippers fans have to look themselves in the eyes honestly and be like, this is probably above what expectations were, especially based on the context of the situation and how things played out and the flameouts that he had at other situations without finding his footing, as I do think Harden deserves a little bit of credit. He was a legitimate all-NBA guard for the regular season last year, and doing it at this age is very impressive. But what is very evident here is the Clippers are clearly operating on the 2-year window. That there is a lot of hype around that 27-28 offseason for the big-time free agents that could be on the table. We're talking about potentially Nikola Jokic, potentially Luka Doncic, potentially Giannis Antetokounmpo there. There's still a lot that has to go down before that is official and that they do not sign an extension. We have not seen that level of big-ticket free agents reach the market in quite some time. That in general, when you are a caliber of star like that, you tend to work with the organization that even if your future is not with them, they want to help you get to your desired destination and bring something back in return, is most notably. But for the Philadelphia 76ers here, you get to sit here and allow the Clippers to take their pick of the litter, see what guys that they want to spend on, and hope for it to fail. If they are a bad basketball team, there's a very clear pathway to that being a top draft pick, like a legitimate top pick there. And that is all the more reason to me why I'm not rushing any of these trades. It's a good thing to have an overabundance of young talent here. It's a good thing to be able to sort through and say, is Jared McCain the best of the bunch? Could VJ Edgecombe be better than these guys? Is Tyrese Maxey definitely the leader of this, the best player out of the bunch? Is Quentin Grimes a guy that is comfortably better than VJ Edgecombe? Those are all questions that we should take in a sample size of actual basketball played on the court before coming to any sort of determination on. And when you do have this trade chip sitting over the back of your mind, that thinking, maybe the Joel Embiid and Paul George era is officially over. Maybe we have seen the best days officially behind these guys, that Embiid never rebounds to being the MVP caliber of talent that he's shown to be, that Paul George is never able to fulfill the max contract expectations that he signed on the dotted line and accepted there. Maybe that is the case there, but there is this beautiful, bright future for the Sixers organization. They are not all the eggs in this one basket of this specific team has to work. There is some flexibility, there is a bright future, and there's more just straight up youth in this organization than has been the case in quite some time. With all the questions that are surrounding this roster, from Embiid's health to Paul George's status to how all the pieces fit together, you can ask a million things. My message here would be, just don't rush. Then allow things to play out. Let's see how this all fits together. Let's see what are the pieces that connect. Where are the guys that can share the floor, play together, that the styles match up? Those are all questions that we have an entire season and really several years to figure out. There is a world where things snap completely correctly this year, and all of a sudden the Sixers look like contenders. That Joel Embiid, whatever this magical surgery that he did get, was worked, that he's effective, he's back. There is a world where Paul George bounces back and looks like the version of himself that the Sixers believe they signed. Is that a likely world? Probably not, if we're being honest with ourselves. But my takeaway here, and the message that I think we all should enter next season with, is just be open-minded, allow things to play itself out, and there is this bright future if we are in full panic in the present here. I do not want to see Jared McCain playing in another uniform, certainly in the short term, and likely forever here. Is it the ideal world that all these pieces might not fit together? Probably not. But I think it's far too early to make a determination on which of those specific pieces you choose to build around. Allow these guys to play through their mistakes, earn their minutes, figure out how their fit is in the modern NBA, and together on the floor. Those are questions that we have to learn, not ones that we can enter going in and kind of believe and take away right now. Who knows what the full core of this next iteration of this Sixers team is, but there are a lot of options, and that should be looked at as a positive thing. So for Jared McCain specifically, man, hope that meniscus recovery is all good. I cannot wait to see him return with a vengeance in year 2. And as stated by VJ Edgecombe himself, I love this quote, saying, quote, Jared McCain was on his way to winning Rookie of the Year last year, if you ask me. He absolutely was, and shout out to VJ for showing a little love. I understand there's a lot of young talent, a lot of overlapping skill sets, but there is no need to panic and accelerate the process by trying to get rid of some of those encouraging names there. So we will see what ultimately plays itself out within the Sixers organization on the floor here. but a lot more young talent than a lot of us expected to be the case, and pretty exciting. That is a good spot to be in as an organization. But let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments. Are you open-minded to moving on from Jared McCain? Have you seen enough? Did he play above his head in his brief sample size that he provided his rookie season, or is this something that this is legit? I think this is here to stay. I think Jared McCain is a future all-star type of dude, and I cannot wait to see what year 2 has in store for him. But do want to hear from you guys in the comments. Drop those thoughts below. If you have not already, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. Drop a like on this video here. We'll be back talking to you next time right here on Sixers Digest. Peace.